with G. Scott.
Super Bowl 48 champion, one of the greatest to ever do it, 13-year NFL career, Brandon Mebane. Mebane, let's get right to it. Big game, Monday night, Seahawks, Detroit Lions. You've watched the film on Detroit. What can we expect out of this Detroit Lions team?
Well, everything starts up front. So, you look at the Detroit Lions offense and they run the ball, and the way they run the ball, they not playing. They want to come and they ready to fight. They trying to take everything out your store, and they don't care if you got cameras, and they taking everything with them. So, yeah.
So wait, real quick, because I know you got some film for us to watch. Are you saying right now this is going to be a tough match for the Seahawks?
I think up front, this is going to be a great, definitely a great test for the defensive line, the linebackers, the whole defense. To me, in my opinion, this is the best offensive line on paper, probably in NFL, that for sure the Seahawks is going to go against. And then I say probably number two, I'd probably say San Fran. But this is the best offensive line that they're going to see this year, looking at the schedule.
Okay. Let's get to, we got 3 plays that you've watched a lot of Detroit. You got 3 plays so you can kind of basically give us an understanding of what we are going to probably see on Monday night. Here's video number 1. Explain what we
video
got
number 1. So video number 1, right? I have this indication, and I'm sorry if I'm spilling the beans, man, but hey, man, the film is available for the public. And I'm part of the general public now, so I'm a civilian, and I'm showing people what I've seen, right? Okay, so we have 11 personnel here, 1 tight end. Well, actually, I think 87 might be a tight end, but for right now, we're going to say he's not a tight end, he's a receiver, right? So we got 88, and we got 26, 11 personnel, right? Okay, so what I want y'all to look at this. I want y'all to look at this quarterback mannerism, right? The quarterback mannerism, he coming to the line of scrimmage, he's reading the safeties, he's looking at the rotation of the safeties, right? This is what he does first. He takes his right hand, only in 11 personnel, right? He does this. And you can get a clue on this. This is great for defensive linemen. He takes his right hand, right? He wipes his right hand before he hikes the ball twice on that towel on his hip, right? So when he wipes twice, when he wipes his right hand twice on that towel, that's an indication that it's a pass.
Stop right there. Stop right there. I want to know why you're saying that that's an indication of a pass, and how you picked up on his wiping of the towel being an indicator. Is that nervous tics? What is that about?
I think that's something that he wants to have a dry hand. He probably played with sweaty hands, sweaty palms. He wants a dry hand to basically when he gets the ball, he released the ball with a dry hand instead of with a wet hand, right? It's something that you see with with a lot of quarterbacks. Usually, what they used to do back in the day, where quarterbacks used to play with, they used to lick their hand at the line of scrimmage, right? They licked their hand at the line of scrimmage, and that was an indication of they about to get ready for a pass. Where in this case, he wipes his hand twice on the towel before he hikes the ball, and voila, there you go. That's the indication of when he getting ready to throw the ball in 11 personnel shotgun.
In 11 personnel. Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's get to the second video.
Okay, second video.
What are some tendencies that you're seeing here?
Second video right here, right?
Okay.
We have 11 personnel again, right? And so we looking at it like, okay, this looked like the same as the last video. No, it's different.
All right.
So this is how you can tell when it's a run 11 personnel shotgun. With his right hand again, right? With his right hand again, he takes his right hand and he wipes his towel with his right hand 1 time instead of twice. So when he only do it once, it's a pass. I mean, it's a run. I'm sorry. It's a run. There you go.
Let's start that over. Okay.
Okay. You see him wiping his hand?
One time. He wipes his hand once.
One time.
Yep.
Yep.
Once.
Handoff.
So let's go back to this. Watch it one more time.
Right. And then another thing too that I didn't mention too is this, right? Whenever it's a run, what I noticed with the Detroit Lions, like say if the quarterback is up under the center, whenever it's a run, like you will see them like over communicating. Especially last game, they was over communicating, they was pointing, and they was like letting each other know like where we going, this and that. When it's past, with their communication when it's past, they'll communicate, just right away. They'll, turn their head and talk, 54 to Mike, they're gonna set the protection to him. They're gonna slide the protection to him. But when it's run, they pointing, they communicating all the way down the line. It's just way more over the top than usual. That's the difference between knowing when it's a pass or it's a run.
Right. Man. And Bang, watching this play, watch how they run fit on this. Look at the perfection, even though the running back didn't wait enough to go off the back of that lineman. Let me see.
Right.
Man, look at this run fit. Yeah, it's going to be a battle. Before we get to the third video, let me see your face again, and I want to ask this. Back when you played. Now that it's over now, can you tell us some tendencies that you saw when you played? Are there some stories you could tell us about some quarterbacks and some tail signs? You're like, oh, I knew when you was passing. I knew when it was going to the left or the right.
Okay, I got one. So for example, we was playing. This is when I was with the Chargers, and we was playing New England Patriots, right? So this is what Tom Brady did. I noticed Tom Brady when he got in the huddle, right? He was yelling at his center, like cussing him out, like just talking so bad to him. And I'm looking like, hey, why are you talking to him like that? Like he was like, it was like he was like a sergeant in an army or something, and he was like, he didn't do a push-up right or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I seen that and I was like, oh, okay. And then they ran a screen to me on my side. Right. And I was like, oh man, I got to use my hands better, get over top, stay square to the line of scrimmage, get over there so I can cut it back inside. Right.
Okay.
So probably like maybe a quarter or two later, he did that same thing. And I said, oh my God, here come the screen. But I knew from playing Tom Brady in the past, if you talk, he going to audible out the play. So I didn't say nothing on that play. I didn't tell nobody, hey man, screen's coming over here. I kept it to myself. And so I kept it to myself, and I already knew where the play was going. It was a screen because he was talking to his center once again in the huddle the same exact way. And I was like, here we come. Got it.
What?
Intel. Yeah, Intel.
Okay. Here's another one. Before we get to the third video, let's go back to Super Bowl 48. Because obviously Peyton Manning, considered one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And that's one of the one things I want to do. I really want to get to the point where we start really dissecting that Super Bowl. We know it was a blowout, no doubt. But there has to be some things that was happening because, Bang, y'all dominated them. What were some things that when you got out there, you like, oh, I see that. Oh, I see that. Even first play of the game, first snap, boom.
I think, people, ask me that question a lot. What did we do that was like so amazing? We really didn't do nothing really amazing. We really just played fundamentally sound football. We made tackles on the perimeter. We rushed the passer very well up front. We put pressure on Peyton Manning. And when they was big on like running like a lot of bubble screens. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times teams will miss tackles and they'll get yards after a catch like crazy. Their yards after catch was super high that year, probably like some of the highest in the NFL history, right? And all we did was just play our game. We made the tackles, we forced turnovers, and we capitalized on our turnovers and, we either kicked the field goal or we scored a touchdown. And not to mention too, our special teams was sky high that game too as well. So yeah.
All right, let's get to the third thing that we're going to see out of the Detroit Lions. Talk to us, Bang.
Okay, so right here they're running 12 personnel. You can't really see the other tight end in the picture, but he's more so to the right of on the offense.
Okay.
And so the reason why I picked this personnel, because it's very, very interesting, right? You don't see a whole lot of teams running this no more like they used to. Check out number 70. They bring number 70 in as an extra O lineman, but they use him as a tight end, right? So what they want to do is their whole mindset is whether they shift away, number 70 away from the tight ends or to the tight ends, I'll say 95% of the time they want to run to number 70. But if you watch this whole game, it was sometimes in this game to where they want to keep you off balance, to where they want to run away from number 70. But the whole idea of putting them in there is they want to play bully ball, and they want to say, we have O linemen up here that can defeat you up front, and what you're going to do about it.
So
and that's what they want to do.
Before we play the play, you're basically saying to us, when we see 70 come in, and he's going to be used run him as a tight end, you're saying, while they might want to go misdirection, chances are they want to go as 70 because they want the defensive line to know that this offensive line ain't playing no games with them.
Yep. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, they're like a motorcycle game, man. They play with attitude up front, man. That's why I'm saying, man, this is going to be a great, interesting test to the Seattle defense to see like where they are in their technique and what type of game they're trying to play. Because this I will say, and I said this earlier, I say the next offensive line that's probably good that I don't think they play them this year is the Saints. The Saints have a great offensive line. The Saints' mindset of up front, how Detroit Lions is playing up front, is the same way. It's the exact same way. This is the exact same football. Not too many teams want to play this type of style of football anymore, but it's coming back slowly but surely.
We can run that play real quick.
Right. Yeah, that's what they want to use them for. They're not using them in there for pass protection or he going for a route. But hey, you gotta be careful though.
Hey, before he goes, I do want to talk about the UNLV quarterback. We'll talk about that for a couple minutes. I want to talk about that quarterback leaving after going 3-0. But before you get to that, I want to ask this: everybody wants to know, what is your definition? What makes a great offensive line?
I think what makes a great offensive lineman is his ability to move lateral, his ability to pass protect, his hands, his width of his body, his control of his body, his feet.
How about as a unit, though? How about as a unit?
They all look like that. They all look like what I just explained. And they all got the mindset of, we not playing and we are trying to roll you like a bowling ball.
Was that Brendo Giacomini?
Yeah, they all had that mindset, man. And when we used to practice against them, it was like, man, you better bring your lunch pail because they gonna dog you in practice, man. So they made us better and we made them better.
Was Max Unger hard to deal with in practice, Bang? Max Unger?
Max Unger was good, man, because Max Unger was a guy that could move lateral. He's 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
He could move very well, was very smart. He communicated very well. He used to call out the protections. And, man, we used to battle, man. And that made me and him, better.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
UNLV. So UNLV quarterback comes out this morning, puts it out there. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm done. Even though UNLV is 3-0 after beating Kansas, after beating University of Houston, some good wins, my man said, no, I'm not playing because there were things that I was promised. Now, before you go on this, I will say it took me all of 5 minutes of research to find out that this young man, who was a fifth-year senior, leaving the college, transferring into UNLV, an assistant coach verbally said that we will give him 100,000. Bang, what's your thoughts on this?
Hey, first of all, man, hey, that coach said, "Hey, man, we need this dude, man. So we gotta say anything to get this dude in the building, right?"
Right.
But a verbal contract and a written signed contract is different, and that's what the player has to understand, before he commits and go to a place like that, right? My thing is this, man. I don't know if he have any type of inspiration or any type of motivation to want to play in the NFL, but that right there probably took him off of every draft board in the NFL. I don't get it, man. Like, why are you like not playing because you're not getting $100,000 to where you go in the NFL do your job, you make $100 million plus.
So okay, because somebody listen.
Yeah.
Let me play devil's advocate. I want to play devil's advocate.
Right.
He says, "I'm not going to play. I'm going to leave before that way I can still redshirt, get another year." I'm sure there's other colleges already in his ear saying, "Hey, we got some NIL money for you."
Right.
Bang, what I want to play devil's advocate is that there are a lot of people that say, "Hey, it's an opportunity to go get that money." Even if it means messing up your future in the goal of playing in the NFL. It's a balance.
Man, yeah, my heart go out to them, man, because if I'm a team and we needed him, I wouldn't pick him, because that right there tells me about his character. When things get hard or things don't go his way, which in football, it goes like that. Things go your way sometimes. Things may not go your way. So, like, that shows you the character of that individual. Ooh. That he will quit anytime something get hard, or coach didn't call the right play, or he didn't make the right read to throw to the right person. Like, that's football, man. That stuff's gonna happen. That's life,
And by the way, come to find out and this is what's interesting. He was promised $100,000, but the reality is they were going to give him $3,000 a month to equal up to $88,000. So it comes out to be where he's short $12,000. Anyway,
yeah, man.
Bang, hey man, we needed you on this. Let's hope that Monday night goes well. Man, it's so good having you be our resident expert, man. One of the best to ever do it. We appreciate you, Bang.
Appreciate it, man. I think, like I said, man, if they go in the right mindset of playing that style of football, I think they, just got to meet a bully with a bully. That's just what it is, man.
There it is. All right, Bang. I'll hit you up later, bro.
All right, talk to you.
Make sure you guys follow my man, Brandon Mebane. Look, he's one of the best to ever do it, and I'm so grateful that he comes on our show to do this. It's Mebane92. Mebane92, go follow him. I'm telling you, you can learn a lot from Brandon Mebane. Oh, all my people are here. I got Frank, I got Paul, and I got my good buddy Bones. All right, producer Frank, start us off. What's up?
Do you want to know a crazy stat? 5 of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league have 2 wins this season.
Whoa.
And so I've been thinking about this stat. I saw it this morning. Dak Prescott's the highest paid quarterback. He has 1 win on the year. Joe Burrow's 0-3. He's the 2nd highest paid quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, 0-3. He's lost 8 straight. He's the 3rd highest paid quarterback. Jordan Love is the 4th. He's been injured. Tua's the 5th. He just got hurt. You want to jump in? Jump in.
First of all, look here. If y'all listening at home, I was not ready for that. I know. I had no idea where you were starting. That makes you want to pump the brakes. And actually, if you want to do right by somebody, you got to do right by Geno Smith there.
That's
you,
what I'm thinking.
You got to do right by Geno Smith.
Because I'll be honest, I wasn't the biggest Geno fan. I thought of him always more of as a stopgap. He wasn't the long-term answer. I thought this team was consistently getting younger and younger and younger. Young coach, young stars. We need a young quarterback to anchor all of that. Now I just want a grown-up. Like, with a lot of these quarterbacks, like, you were high on Brissett and his intelligence early on in the season. We're seeing Andy Dalton torch whatever defenses that Bryce Young couldn't do. I just want an adult who studied the game, could put the ball on a dot somewhere and just trust the system, trust our offense, trust our coaches. And so I've so far the first 3 weeks, I've really flipped on like the future of the quarterback position, whether in Seattle or long term in the league as a whole.
Well, I guess here's my question then for you there, Frank. If you want an adult, would you take Russell Wilson right now?
Well, what situation am I in?
Just put yourself in the Broncos situation. Like, put yourself in in the case of the Broncos. Even
Nah, because at that point I do want to. Because I've always been I want to try the rookie, but like Russell Wilson in Carolina.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what the Andy Dalton thing is.
Does Miami Dolphins, should they go after Russell Wilson?
100%. They've been linked to Jimmy G and some of those guys. That'd be perfect for them. I think Bill mentioned Russell Wilson a little bit.
He did, and let's maybe go there, guys. Is Miami committing one of the biggest mistakes this season by not having a backup quarterback, a quality backup quarterback? How big of a mistake is that by the Miami Dolphins?
Who was the guy that got some action in our game?
Doyle?
Oh man, Tim Boyle's got to be one of like the 5 worst quarterbacks I've ever seen.
Well, he's on the practice squad for a reason.
You know,
Well, he was one of the backups for the Jets, right?
That's the Jets.
Yeah, because
But
Aaron
I
Rodgers
just-
wanted him there.
You know what's interesting? If you are a Seahawk fan, hear me out. If you are a Seahawk fan, do you realize how grateful that we all have to be with this organization? Could you imagine starting off the season with one of the second highest paid quarterback in the league, 0-3? Could you imagine starting off a season with the highest paid quarterback in the game in Dak Prescott being 1-2? Also, could you imagine if Jerry Jones was in charge of your scouting department?
Oh, God.
That's another story. But I'm being serious when I say this. Look at where the standard is, Bones, for Seahawk football. I mean, we don't get no respect. We came into the season as an organization, as a team, being ranked 21st power rankings, 24th power rankings out of 32. Bones, where's the respect, bruh?
I mean, it happens every year. We are the afterthought of the NFL. Like, we're not terrible. We're not the Browns when they suck, the Dolphins when they suck. We're not going 0 for the entire season. But no matter what we do, if it's not in the NFC Championship, we're the afterthought of the NFL, specifically the NFC. Nobody wants to see us succeed until they profit off it, until they can make their money off it. No one wants to see the Seahawks at the center of attention before they've done something, or even just after they've done something and come to the next season. We'll never be held at that pedestal that so many of these teams get. The Chiefs, even the Bengals, who have been very poor this season. They're always held up. They're like, oh, they're gonna be there.
How about the team we're playing on Monday?
See, I'm scared.
Detroit now.
I'm scared.
And I bring up that quarterback thing because they got Jared Goff, and they threw a lot of money at Jared Goff.
It's exactly what I was going to go to. Is there's 2 things that scare me in this league. We saw it last week in a backup quarterback. That scares me when Seattle play them. The only thing that scares me more than a backup quarterback is a proven veteran quarterback. I don't like saying that because you can make an offense work with a veteran quarterback and I would say subpar weapons. Lions are good. They're not terrible. They've been doing good this season so far, but Jared Goff is the first real test of a quarterback that we're going to see this season.
The Detroit Lions remind me of my Uncle Jesse. He reminds me, do you have that uncle or that person in your family? They might not be an expert in anything, but they're good at everything, right? They can fix a car, they can cook a meal, they can build a house, they can build a patio, they can clean a house, they can take care of the kid. They can do everything. That's the Detroit Lions. They are really efficient, Frank, at everything. They can run the ball.
Yep.
They have a good offensive line. They have good wide receivers. They have a good system. They have a good quarterback. Like, Frank, they're not necessarily top 2, but they're top 10 flat on everything else.
They got pieces in the secondary. They got a nice linebacker. They have Aiden Hutchinson, who's really going to scare us. You know what's something that they do really well?
Huh.
Third downs. They're 5th in the league on third downs. They're 4% better than they were last year. You know where we are?
Oh,
We're 19th.
See, now that's where you earn your money, Frank. You earn your money because if you guys remember, in this last game, this last game was brutal for the Seahawks, Paul. It was brutal because they were 1 for 19, both teams at one point in the third quarter.
Yeah, and not only is it important to be able to convert on third down, and when you're playing the Lions, they're playing how much of the field is 4-down territory for them? It's got to be 80% of the field, it feels like. If you're not going to be able to stop the Lions on third down, you're setting yourself up for even more trouble there because you're not even putting them in those situations where you have to make Dan Campbell make that tough decision. And while I trust Dan Campbell and I like his approach and I like his philosophies, I think the one thing that people have noticed, if you can make the Lions have to be over aggressive, over rely on that offensive line and that offense, I think that's where they can make mistakes, maybe too much pressure there. I think that's got to be the thing. You're going to have to put the Lions in situations that are going to make them uncomfortable if you're going to come out on top of this. Because right now, if you had to ask me just right at this second, I got the Lions winning by a field goal.
But damn, I was about to get to the predictions towards the end, and we are going to get to predictions in a second. But before we get to the predictions, and Nobody gives a damn what you got to say, Paul. You know what? Because you have a suck team in the Denver Broncos, and I'm glad you're a part of this family. But the only time that's the time we don't care what you got to say. All right, I just want to put that out there. Before we get to that, Frank Bones, are there any other topics before we get in this show? We get to last predictions. Anything else you guys want to discuss that needs to be talked about? Anything?
Outside of I was right in my prediction of containing Tyreek Hill was the way to get the win and destroy the quarterback for the Dolphins. I'll take that to my grave every day because I was scared of the Dolphins until we absolutely murdered their quarterback into the dirt. And Tyreek Hill had 40 yards. How many other teams can say they did that to him?
Mike McDaniel is a great coach.
Yep.
Mike McDaniel is considered, everybody's like, oh my goodness. But Frank, is Mike McDaniel one of those people that's going to do everything right but, and what I mean by but is but get a backup quarterback, but throw everything all on Tua? Like, it seems like everything is going right, but he can't figure this part out.
It's amazing how small some of these changes can be. Like people can listen to us and be like, well, what do we know? Well, I just watched the game 2 weeks ago with the Giants where they didn't have a healthy kicker, so they had to go for 2 every single time, and they lost the game to the Commanders because of it. Like, some of these teams can do some really dumb stuff. I love that the Seahawks lost Drew Lock, and we're like, we're going to go get another backup. Oh, and our backup was a starter who played 17 games last year. Like, we really value having depth at that position. What I get worried about with McDaniel, I've actually talked about you with this briefly before. I think he's a really, really strong coach. Comes from a great Shanahan tree. We've seen that just conquer the league now. A third of the teams are all Shanahan offenses. Is he Daryl Morey, where he can't separate himself from Tua, and therefore his success will always be tied to Tua, a quarterback who may not ever get over the hump? That's what I get worried about with Mike McDaniel. Daryl Morey could never separate himself from James Harden. Every chance he got, he was like, I got to have James Harden. Well, you're not winning a championship with James Harden. I'm sorry.
All right. Let's go around the horn. Let's go predictions. Predictions. What do you got this Monday Night Football? Detroit Lions, Seattle Seahawks. Brady.
27-20 Seahawks.
I got the Lions. They're going to give us our first loss of the year. I'm going to say 27-24, 27-23, something like that.
27-24 was my pick, Frank. So I'm gonna have to steal it from you. I got 27-24 Lions, and I got Amon-Ra and DK putting on a show on national television on Monday night.
I got 30-27 Seahawks. I think there's gonna be a high-scoring game because I think that's how the Seahawks have to win this game. They're gonna rely on the best wide receiver combo in the game. They're gonna rely on the hottest quarterback right now in the game, on Geno Smith. They'll pick and choose a little bit with the run game, but I'm not really too worried about it because one thing I do think about this Seahawks offense is I think that they can beat you in many ways. This is going to come down to Ryan Grubb being in his bag. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, when it comes to the Seahawks team, after they win on Monday night, I don't want to hear nobody else's mouth. I don't want to hear nothing about, they didn't play anybody the first 3 games. All I know is that team will be 4-0. And here's something to take away, because I know that some of you all are listening, and maybe Frank and Paul is thinking it, and you guys say, well, gee, you always pro Seahawks. You always biased. You are homer. Fair. But let me just give you something to think about. Do you know who the general manager is? You know the general manager for the Seahawks? Do you know that this is year 15 for him? Think about it. Imagine being at your job for 15 years. You'd be pretty good at it. There's not a lot of GMs in the league that have been there for 15 years. You want to know why the Cincinnati Bengals have the second highest paid quarterback in 0-3? Because they ain't got a John Schneider, baby. They ain't got a John Schneider that's going to make hard decisions all the time, even when you don't like it. I was around John Schneider on Monday at Cliff Avrill's event. You know what stood out to me? We were all in the back room. Geno Smith was there. Cam Chancellor was there. Richard Sherman was there. All of the people back there where John Schneider had to make tough decisions. You want to know what stood out to me? They all respect John Schneider, and they still rocking with the dude. So, the key to Monday night, the key to continued success right now for these Seahawks, you got to give it to that little guy. Short guy, kind of buff, John Schneider, year 15. Let's go. This X and O is for you, Cindy. Hey, instead of what did they do, ask yourself, what can you do better? Start with yourself. Most situations and circumstances can be better once you decide to point the thumb at yourself instead of the index finger at others. We have to stop giving and making sure that everyone else is the problem or this person is the problem. Start with self, because sometimes those folks ain't gonna change. Isn't that something? You're in these circumstances and you keep wanting them to change, and I'm gonna tell you a secret. Them folks ain't gonna change. So guess who has to change? You. And once you change, you become better. And then once you're better, you're able to control those situations better. Take accountability, then take control. You see what I'm saying? Don't ask what they did. Ask what you can do better. Hey, I appreciate you rocking with me. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.